clerk who will admit people to the meeting. Before I commence, a few housekeeping items to note. This is a formal council virtual meeting and is held just as our actual meetings at Fairway Hall, using the agenda as distributed by the town clerk. Please respect the office of council and remember that the required standards of courteous conduct and discussion are the same whether in remote or in face-to-face meetings. As with our usual meetings, members of the public will be given the opportunity to speak during public participation, which is in item number 10 of the agenda, once invited to do so by the chair. The chair can ask the host to mute anyone who causes a nuisance, and if a person disregards the request of the chair to moderate their conduct, any councillor or the chair may move that the person be excluded from this meeting. The motion, if seconded, will be put to vote without discussion, and this is based on item number 2B on the standing orders. I'm sure this will not be necessary. Please ensure you're on mute at all times when not speaking and that your mobile phones are on silent. As in our actual meetings, please make your comments via the chair. And should members wish to speak, please raise a hand or message via the chat. Please be advised that should you participate in this virtual meeting, this may be recorded and published. Meetings or parts of meeting from which the press and public are excluded may not be filmed or recorded, and voting will take place in the same manner as previous council meetings. I'm going to start by, before we actually start the formal meeting, I've requested the leave of members to make a short address in relation to the death of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, and to hold a period of quiet reflection for the victims of COVID-19 pandemic. So, as I said a minute ago, before we commence proceedings, I'm calling for a minute's quiet reflection to give us the opportunity to remember those that were taken by COVID-19 and those that are still suffering from the virus and its aftermath. Please use this time to reflect and give thanks for the huge effort made by our NHS staff and key workers in all sectors and scientists worldwide who work so hard to create the vaccines to protect us. Please also recall the medical personnel and army of volunteers who are working so hard to ensure each and every one of us receives a vaccine. And we must also remember His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh, who was taken from us so recently. So please, a minute's reflection. May the memory of the victims of COVID and the Duke be a blessing, and may they all rest in peace. I'm going to move to item number 1 of the agenda, and that's to elect a town mayor for the municipal year 2021-2022. Do we have any proposers and seconders? I'll start with the Conservative group. Do we have a proposer from the Conservative group for our mayor, Councillor Strack? Can you unmute yourself, please, Councillor Strack?
I'd like to propose Councillor Turner.
And I'm seconding that proposal to elect Councillor Farrah Turner as the next mayor of Elstree and Bournemouth. And do we have a proposer from the Labour group? Councillor Butler?
Yes, we do, Mr. Mayor. We propose Councillor Casa.
Is there a seconder from the Labour group, Councillor Butler?
There should be.
Yes, I second it.
Thank you, Councillor Collins. So we'll go to vote for the next mayor of Elstree and Bournemouth. Hugh, do we start with?
No. Well, in a situation such as this, Mr. Mayor, where there was only two candidates. Rather than voting aye or nay, members will vote by name. So I'll go through the list and members can say who their preferred candidate is, Councillor Turner or Councillor Casa, one of the two responses, and then we'll have a decision at the end of that. So I'll go through the list in order as they appear on the agenda. I have that in front of me. Yes, I do. Right, so Councillor Rubner, do you vote for Councillor Turner or Councillor Casa?
I'm voting for Councillor Turner.
Councillor Parnell?
Councillor Turner.
Councillor Butchins?
Very pleased to be able to support Councillor Turner.
Councillor Chalice?
Councillor Casa.
Councillor Butler?
Councillor Casa.
Councillor Collins? Councillor Collins, how do you vote, sir?
Casa, please.
I didn't catch that, but I'm reading
Councillor
your lips.
Casa, I said.
Councillor Casa.
Councillor Casa.
I have Councillor Casa. Councillor A.
Councillor Farida Turner, please.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Casa.
Yeah, myself, Councillor Casa.
Thank you. Councillor Lawrence.
Councillor Turner.
Councillor Newmark.
Councillor Prabhakar Kaza.
Thank you. Councillor Strack.
Councillor Farida Turner.
Councillor Turner.
Councillor Turner.
And Councillor Vince.
No, okay.
Councillor Prabhakar Kaza.
That has been a vote according to party lines, Mr. Mayor, and you may announce that Councillor Turner is hereby been elected Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh Jones. So I hereby announce that Councillor Farida Turner is going to be the Mayor of Elstree and Bournemouth for the municipal year 2021-2022. And may I offer you my sincere congratulations and wishes for success and good health in your year. I now hand over to Councillor Turner.
Thank you very much indeed. I now give you my declaration of acceptance of office, Mayor 2021-2022. I, Farida Turner, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Elstree and Bournemouth Town Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Elstree Bournemouth Town Council. And I'll sign that now. Thank you very much indeed. We now go on to receive the outgoing Mayor's announcements.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members, officers and guests, it's been an absolute privilege to have served as Town Mayor for the past 2 years. Firstly, I must thank my wife Gina, who accompanied me on the numerous engagements, amended meal times to fit in with my schedule and changed plans so that I could attend my mayoral duties. Without my family's support, it wouldn't have been possible for me to carry out these duties. The Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sandra Parnell, attended numerous engagements and events in my place during the past 24 months. We worked very well as a team and her help and input was very much appreciated. So thank you very much, Sandra, for all your help and assistance. You were always available when needed. A huge debt of thanks is also owed to Jenny Simon, the Mayor's Secretary, who supported Councillor Parnell and I with endless advice and guidance during the time we've been privileged to hold office. What Jenny Simon doesn't know about the office of Mayor is simply not worth knowing. I also owe a debt of thanks to the Town Clerk, Hugh Jones, for his patience, advice and guidance on all the legal aspects of the office of Mayor. The Clerk's input is essential to the legal and efficient running of Town Council meetings. Thanks also owed to Dan Salter, our events officer, who does so much behind the scenes to ensure our public events go ahead as planned, on time and on budget. I'm particularly proud of his achievement ensuring that the Town Crier magazine was compiled, edited and distributed on time during the pandemic. Dan Salter certainly kept calm and carried on. I mustn't forget the assistance and advice always given with a warm smile from the Deputy Town Clerk, Tracy Moulton, and of course, Paul Miller, the Hall Supervisor. Paul was my main contact when visiting Farewell Hall during the pandemic. He always greeted me in his usual cheerful manner, but never ever let me in the building. I think I must be the first town mayor to be banned from entering the town offices. This pandemic certainly turned things upside down. My thanks also due to the other town staff for coming to work as usual despite the pandemic and completing their duties as required. The town council is a team, and without the input of each and every member of staff, the operation will cease to work. My time in office was in many ways unprecedented and not without its challenges. I started my term with a new council, including members who had never been a councillor or whose council experience was from other authorities. Some of these newly elected members were unaware of the norms and ways of how we do business in the town. Traditionally, we've practiced a type of consensus politics, which changed with the new intake to a more confrontational form of politics. This meant that meetings were more likely to be bad-tempered, they took longer due to political manoeuvrings, and there's been a profound loss of trust between the political groups that make up this authority. This change has not been to the benefit of our residents who elected us to office.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, or former Mr. Mayor, what is actually happening here? Because you seem to be making a very political. I'm sorry.
It's a Stalinist mayor displaying his Stalinist
very
attitude.
political statement.
This is a political statement.
He's making a political statement, which we would
What
be
a shame.
shut down at. This is out of order.
Very politely
This is out of order, Madam Mayor. Out of order.
Stalinist.
Absolutely.
Councillor Rubner, would you finish your statement?
If he continues, we will make this meeting very challenging and we will challenge you at every single outlet. At the moment, we didn't challenge the mayoralty properly. This is a political statement, which you have accused our group of doing in the past. I was quite happy to sit here and listen to some of it. This is out of order.
Please, to let us continue with this meeting.
Out of order.
Whilst robust debate is part and parcel of a thriving democracy, the job of the town council is not to enhance the political careers of members, nor is it to improve the electoral prospects of any given political party. To quote President Abraham Lincoln, who said in a speech in 1858, "You may fool all of the people some of the time. You can even fool some of the people all of the time."
Shame, he's abusing the mayoralty.
Excuse me, Councillor Newmark, please, can you let ex-mayor Rubner finish his words?
We are here at the gift of the electorate and they expect us to work in the best interests of the town at all times. Just as I was looking forward to the spring events and engagements, the world was turned upside down by news of this devastating pandemic. COVID-19 hit the world for six, and my heart goes out to all those that lost loved ones to this terrible disease and to those still suffering the consequences of this illness. Even though the country locked down, this authority stayed open and continued to deliver services where possible in a COVID-compliant manner. We held meetings as scheduled via Zoom, and I attended engagements remotely or socially distanced in line with government guidelines at the time. It's the mayor's job to lead from the front. Therefore, I decided to devote as much time as possible volunteering in the community alongside members of the public to help others. I volunteered at a number of charities, doing a variety of work, and spent many hours volunteering at vaccination hubs in and around the county. I can honestly say that I was humbled by the public's response to the pandemic. Everything that is great about Britain came to the fore. We should be proud of ourselves and our country. My focus as town mayor has been on upholding democracy, free speech, and supporting good.
Rubbish! You kicked me out of a meeting. That's not free speech.
Councillor Newmark, please let the
is misleading the council, Madam Mayor. is misleading the council. He can't
Please.
claim to promote free speech when he kicked me out of a meeting. Stalinist.
Impartiality.
Councillor Rubner, will you finish your words, please?
Impartiality was of great importance. Members will note that I had no committee voting rights during my time in office, apart from full council or when I substituted for a fellow councillor in committee. My intention throughout my tenure was to use my time wisely for the benefit of the town, its residents, businesses and visitors. I hope I lived up to the expectations of the office I represented. I'd just like to finish by wishing my successor, Councillor Turner, health, success and good luck in the coming municipal year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rubner. Now, under item 1.4, I'd just like to make an announcement. As a very long-term resident of this town, I'm deeply honoured to once again be elected as mayor. With life gradually returning to normal, as a council, we are determined to bring some light into our residents' lives with a very varied and comprehensive entertainment programme aimed at all ages. Please follow our website and please join us at the events. Thank you. I now go to the election of deputy mayor. Do the Conservative Party, would they like to propose someone?
Yes, please.
Councillor Hutchins.
I would like to propose Councillor Sandra Parnell, who has held the office for the last year and performed an exceptional service for the community.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Ennie.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I would like to second the nomination of Councillor Parnell as a deputy mayor for the year 2021-2022.
Thank you. Would the Labour group like to put forward?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I'm happy to speak on this. We're actually going to nominate Councillor Jeremy Newmark. It seems to be a bit odd that we've had a deputy mayor then for 3 years, the same deputy mayor for 3 years on a run. We just heard from the outgoing mayor, Madam Mayor, saying that he respects democracy, which I find laughable from this Conservative administration, who accuses us of political statements when he's just clearly made one, who accuses us of not respecting democracy when actually the members of Aylesbury and Borehamwood and residents of Aylesbury and Borehamwood clearly gave you a 1-seat majority by 30 votes. And actually, if Labour had control, we would have actually offered you at least deputy mayor maybe once or twice through this term of office. The fact that you've not even allowed us, Madam Mayor, I have not finished. You didn't allow us to have an introductory speech for our mayoral nomination. You straight away went to the Conservative Party, again making a political statement. You bring politics into this, and it's disgusting the way this has been happening lately. Absolutely disgusting. And actually, don't fool the people of Borehamwood. They voted to have 1-seat majority by 30 votes with you, and you will not allow us to have even one committee chair. One committee chair. And that's not because of your leader.
A nomination
that is
for
because
deputy
of you,
mayor.
your backseaters controlling the leadership of your council. It's disgusting, Madam Mayor. Disgusting.
Continue, please. Do we have a seconder for deputy mayor?
Yes.
I'm seconding as Councillor Newmark as deputy mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Vince.
Can I just finish by saying to Richard, do not worry about what's going on tonight. In less than 2 years, we'll have elections. They won't get a mayoralship for the next 4 years. And please, Richard, why do you expect anything different?
Vince, please, will you stop this?
Well, I would have done, but Councillor Rubner gave us a political speech in his mayoral speech. But what we have seen, we've seen cronyism from our central government, and it's filtered right down to town council.
Councillor Vince, I will ask the clerk to mute you if you don't stop. Please, I'm asking you very politely to stop. Thank you. Hugh,
Madam Mayor, I'll conduct the vote in exactly the same order as it appears on the agenda, with the list of members in that order. So the 2 nominations for the office of deputy mayor duly proposed and seconded are Councillor Sandra Parnell and Councillor Jeremy Newmark. Councillor Simon Rubner, do you vote for Councillor Parnell or Councillor Newmark?
I'm voting for Councillor Parnell.
Councillor Parnell?
It's very strange, but myself.
I have to ask the question.
Yes, I'm answering you. Thank you.
Councillor Butchins?
Councillor Parnell.
Councillor Chalice?
Councillor Newmark.
Councillor Butler?
I have respect for Councillor Parnell, but it will be Councillor Newmark.
Councillor Collins?
Councillor Newmark, please.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Any?
Councillor Sandra Parnell, please.
Councillor Casa?
Councillor Newmark, please.
Councillor Lawrence?
Councillor Parnell.
Councillor Newmark?
Against Tory cronyism, against political retreads for the third year, and for myself.
Councillor Strack?
Councillor Parnell.
Councillor Turner?
Councillor Parnell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Vince?
I'm voting for democracy, against a dictatorship and cronyism, and clearly and obviously for Councillor Newmark.
Thank you very much. Madam Mayor, once again, the votes has taken place along party lines, and you may hereby announce that Councillor Parnell has been duly elected as Deputy Mayor of Elstree and Borehamwood for the municipal year.
Thank you, Town Clerk. We now go to item 3 of the agenda, apologies.
I think I need to, sorry.
Madam Mayor, there's just...
I apologise.
Received yes. Item Roman numeral 2. I
apologise. You do indeed, Councillor Parnell.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about that. I, Sandra Parnell, having been elected to the office of Deputy Mayor of Elstree and Borehamwood Town Council, declare that I take the office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it, according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of Elstree and Borehamwood Town Council. And thank you very much for voting for me. I will, as I do my best for our residents, and that's all I can offer. I just do my best for everyone at the Town Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Parnell. We now go to apologies. I asked Town Clerk, we have no apologies.
That's right, Madam Mayor, there are no apologies.
Correct. Thank you. And now item 4, declarations of interest. Receive declarations of interest from councillors on the items on the agenda. Does anyone wish to say anything? No. Receive written requests for dispensation for declarable interest and grant any requests for dispensation as appropriate. Does anyone have anything to add to this? Thank you. Item 5, minutes. To approve and adopt the minutes of the meeting of the council held on the 10th of March 2021.
Agreed.
All agreed? Thank you.
Agreed.
Now, general powers of competence. To resolve to adopt general power of competence for 2021-22 for inter alia, the purpose of any grant awards agreed by council outside of the scope of the grants policy, and for an expenditure of SIL monies which satisfy the relevant criteria in accordance with the Localism Act 2011.
Agreed.
Sorry, got my hand up.
I'm sorry, Councillor Newmark, I didn't see your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to propose an amendment to this resolution. I would like to exclude any clubs, societies or associations which town councillors sit on the management committee of, because people in this town have had enough of money going to Rotary clubs and other organisations which in fact are simply fronts for Tory councillors. We had a request for money going out on the town council email for a charity that actually doesn't exist, giving the wrong charity number. This general power of competence needs to be clipped at its wings, and we need to see an end to the use of council funds for local Tory councillors to bankroll clubs and societies that they're involved with. Local people need to see their money properly protected.
Madam Mayor, I second that. Madam Mayor, I second that.
Does anyone wish to respond to that?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to know what Councillor Newmark is referring to, of clubs that we run. We run clubs for actual residents of Elstree and Boreham Wood that actually costs us money, Jeremy, costs us money. When we buy things for the clubs, we don't get it back. So I would like to actually ask you specifically, what are you saying that we're actually taking that money for ourselves? We are benefiting from that money that's going to the clubs. I would like you to explain yourself a little more.
I'm happy to respond, Madam Deputy Mayor. My proposed amendment to the resolution in front of us is very straightforward. It's to avoid the unedifying prospect of this council voting to make grants and give funds to organisations that are effectively run, in the majority in many cases, by councillors who also sit on this authority. It's not right. It doesn't pass the smell test. It's not transparent. It shouldn't be happening as much as it does. And it's time to diversify the bodies that benefit from the funding of public money through this council beyond this tiny incestuous group that's run by the same people all the time. You asked for an explanation. That's what my amendment is aimed at. I think it's very clear.
Thank you very much for your remarks. I think Councillor Parnell would like to respond.
I would like to come back up because it isn't clear. It isn't clear. I'm not sure what you mean, Jeremy. You're saying that who are we doing it for? Who are we running the clubs for? Have you taken the trouble to find out?
Sorry, Madam Mayor, I appreciate it's your first meeting and it's possibly hotter than expected, but I do believe that a couple of meetings ago we adopted a standing order saying that members should only speak once on each item. I believe Councillor Parnell has had her speech on this item.
Well, you're speaking again, Councillor Newmount. So let's see. I believe
because I was asked to.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
That is the end of the discussion on this subject.
Can I speak?
Point of order, Madam Mayor. Point of order. We actually had a vote. Councillor Newmark actually proposed something. I've seconded it.
Hold on. Yes. Who wanted to speak? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Michelle wanted to speak.
Councillor Vince wanted to speak, Madam Mayor.
Sorry, I missed that.
And I'll tell you why. It's the year before last, when a couple of the clubs that Councillor Parnell and Councillor Strack, I think it's maybe the Dementia Club or the Blind Club, I can't remember, but they put in for a grant, but they didn't get the paperwork in right. And so what we asked at that time was, just so we were transparent and watertight, could we get the paperwork in right? Yet what was said to me after that was, a lot of the people that use that club are your Labour voters, and we're going to tell them that you stopped their money. Now, that's the kind of thing that I am opposed to. And that came from Councillor Parnell to myself.
It did.
Excuse me, Councillor Parnell.
I'm sorry.
Have you finished, Councillor?
I do think Councillor Parnell should have a right to reply. But, you know, this is like almost like a fraud where money is to buy votes.
I'm sorry, Councillor Vince, that is not an acceptable thing to say at a public meeting. I'm sorry.
A fraud.
Well, fine, but if you're saying if the money doesn't get given, we're telling your voters, your Labour voters, it's you that stopped their money. That means the money's being gifted by Tory councillors. Is that not votes?
Thank you very much for your words. I now call on Councillor Strack.
Yes, I do take exception to this. We actually never got any money at all. We did do everything that was required, but we decided that the atmosphere was so toxic that it probably wasn't a good idea. I don't believe that any group, any organisation would every group and organisation has to pass the scrutiny of the GMC to get a grant. So I don't understand. Institutions have to be shown and accounts. So it's open to any group and any organisation to put forward for a council grant. So I just don't see the problem. It comes to council, it goes to full council, no money can slip through. So I am really appalled that Councillor Newman and Councillor Vincent are making such statements, but I don't believe that we should vote for that amendment. I think I'm voting against it.
Can I just say that Sandra Parnell should have a right of reply, because she did actually confirm that she did say that to me.
Madam Mayor, you need to mute yourself.
Madam Mayor, I can see that of the panelists, Councillor Alpha Collins has his hand raised, and I saw Councillor Ennie and Councillor Rubner also had their hands raised.
Yes, Madam Mayor. In response to the argument that has been going back and forth, I do suggest and support the motion of Councillor Newmark that we should go about for a vote, and they should be put on the agenda, and we should discuss about it. Go for a vote. I second Councillor Newmark's proposal.
You need to unmute yourself, Madam Mayor.
You are muted, Madam Mayor.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Clark, can I ask you where we should go from here in this issue, please?
Well, there are other councillors, Madam Mayor, who have indicated a desire to speak. I know Councillor Rubner had his hand raised. If it would be helpful, I can explain why this item is on the agenda.
Thank you. That would be very helpful.
Would that be helpful? But also perhaps because I heard Councillor Newmark's proposed amendments, and of course can incorporate that, but I would like to ask points of clarification on that. So the general power of competence really gives more power to the town council's elbow, insofar as an authority, we satisfy the criteria to invoke this power each year at our annual council meeting. What it entails is that the council, because it's had X number of elected members, a qualified clerk, and we have passed the general power of competence training, we're able to spend money of the authority in a way which is over and above that of the prescribed list, which you find in the back of your good councillor guide, which is a very useful thing for the authority to do. It can act as an individual would. So, for example, some authorities, when the Olympics was on, wanted to perhaps fund a local Olympian and to help support that particular individual in his or her training, but had no specific, invoked instead the general power of competence to do so, which enabled them to support the community in that way. The proposal for us effectively gives us power to have a wider net in casting how members wish to spend grants, but also SIL monies. As it stands, I don't believe that we invoked the general power of competence last year or the year before. I'll need to check that. I know we used the section 137 powers for the poppy wreaths and for the computer grants we made to schools during COVID, but I don't believe we actually invoked the general power of competence powers in recent times. The last I think we did was when we perhaps supported the football club with its north stand. That was a couple of years ago. So my question to Councillor Newmark, for clarity, is that the amendments which he's proposed, which I fully understand and have captured, is that simply to apply to money granted for the power of the general power of competence, or is he proposing that it carries over to other forms of statute that are used, in which case it's not really relevant to the item that you have before you? Are you with me?
Well, yes, this is a resolution about the general power of competence.
Yeah.
I was very clear that my amendment was to set parameters for the scope around which the general power of competence can be used. So I'm not sure why I'm being asked whether or not I was proposing any other limitations to matters that are not under discussion. This is a matter that was discussed by the Labour group, and you know, as you'll be aware, the Labour group did ask for a meeting with yourself as clerk. This would have been on the agenda of that meeting, and it's unfortunate that that meeting didn't happen, because we could have explained it there. My amendment was absolutely clear. I think it's wrong that I should be asked if I'm proposing something that I absolutely never mentioned. My intention, as I said, is simply to limit the scope of the general power of competence, to prevent it being used to disperse any funds, be they CIL or grant money or otherwise, to clubs, associations and organisations which are in fact fronts for Tory councillors or run by a majority management board of Tory councillors. I think that's quite right, that's quite proper, and if there's nothing untoward going on, then nobody would have any reason to vote against it.
I have already seconded this as well.
Thank you for the clarification, Councillor Newmark. I'm sure Councillor Butler can confirm that when offered to attend a meeting
absolutely
himself, I made myself open for that on a number of occasions, and that offer is still open. I as you know, don't involve myself in any political
absolutely.
Should
we therefore
go to the votes, Madam Mayor, with
yes,
Councillor Newmark's amendments, which he has announced is completely clear, to preclude general power of competence monies or monies that have been approved for expenditure through the general power of competence to be spent on groups where town councillors also sit on that group. That's clear to everybody. I'll go through the list of members again in exactly the same order. I'll do it in the same order for every vote. So, Councillor Rubner, are you for or against, or wish to abstain to Councillor Newmark's amendment? I can't, Councillor Rubner, just to unmute yourself, please, sir.
I'm voting against the amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Rubner. Councillor Parnell?
Against.
Councillor Butchins?
I'm against the amendment.
Councillor Chalice?
For.
Thank you. Councillor Butler?
For openness and transparency, for.
Councillor Collins?
I'm for them. I'm for.
Councillor Ennie?
Against the amendment.
Councillor Casa?
This is a standard parameter in any organization, so I'm for.
Councillor Lawrence?
Against the amendment.
Councillor Newmark?
For protecting public funds.
No, yeah. Strange. We should even think of voting for it.
Not in Israel, though.
Councillor Strack?
I'm against it.
Councillor Turner?
against the amendment.
Councillor Vince?
For the amendment, and I don't think it looks good voting against this amendment.
Madam Mayor, once again, the voting has taken place according to the party lines, and so the amendment falls. You wish to vote on the
point of order, Madam Mayor. I'd like to ask for a clarification of the councillor's comments about Israel. I find it quite astonishing that when a Jewish councillor proposes an amendment related to the council's finances, I hear the leader of the council under her breath making comments about Israel. I'd like to understand precisely what she meant, please.
I apologise. It was to do with taxes. TAXIS, I'm sorry.
Shocking, shocking. Anti-Semitic tropes from Hertfordshire Tories. Anti-Semitic tropes.
Can we finish this, please? This is totally out of order. Michelle Vince, no, this is totally out of order.
We cannot have a councillor in a meeting make an anti-Semitic trope to one of our councillors and it be glossed over like there is nothing wrong. Now, Councillor Turner.
I will ask the clerk to silence you, but you stopped. Thank you. Thank
you.
Is it okay
to be anti-Semitic, Councillor Turner? Is it okay because she's your friend?
I beg your pardon. That is enough. You're being very offensive and I will ask the clerk to mute you. Now, please, will you stop this tirade? Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, let us now.
Members, do you wish then, are we able to take it with, perhaps without going to a recorded vote, that you are being, regardless of the Councillor Newmark's amendments, to...
I want a recorded vote on this.
The general power of competence. You would like a vote?
Absolutely, Mr. Clark. Absolutely, a recorded vote. Okay. This is openness and transparency.
Thank you very much, Councillor Butler.
All right, well, it's just... Right, Madam Mayor, so Councillor Rubner, are you for or against or wish to abstain the Town Council adopting the general power of competence under the Localism Act 2011 for the municipal year 2021-2022?
I'm for.
Thank you. Councillor Parnell?
For.
Councillor Butchins?
I'm for the adoption of the general power of competence.
Councillor Chalice?
Abstain.
Thank you. Councillor Butler?
With the amendment, I would have been for, but I'm abstaining.
Councillor Collins?
An abstention.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Ennie?
For.
Councillor Casa?
Abstain, please. Abstain.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Lawrence?
For.
Councillor Newmark?
Abstain.
Councillor Strack?
For.
Councillor Turner?
For.
And Councillor Vince?
Abstain.
So once again, Madam Mayor, but voting on party lines, the Labour group wishing to abstain and the Conservative group for, the motion is carried. So the general power of competence is hereby permissible for use within the year. And that concludes item 6.
Thank you very much. We now go on to item 7, which are the committee appointments. Clark, can I ask you if the party leaders have submitted a list of their members they'd like on the various committees?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have spoken on the telephone to both the leader of the Labour group and the leader of the Conservative group, and the leader of the Conservative group has submitted names to me in the lion's share for the committee appointments and indeed the outside bodies. I haven't had a written submission from the Labour group. So this issue, there's quite a lot to get through here. I'm just wondering, the council is going to need to find a way to work through this list if there's disagreement.
Right. Well, we start off, of course, with the Entertainment Committee. Would the various group leaders like to put forward the proposals for the members of this committee?
Absolutely.
Madam Mayor, just on the Entertainment Committee, just a point of information really, is that the Mayor and Deputy Mayor automatically hold ex officio positions on that committee. So 2 of the positions are now included, Councillors Turner and Parnell. So voting on, or nominating rather, on the ratio of political splits, that would be then for the Conservative group to name 4 members and the Conservative group to name 2. The Labour group to name 2.
Right. I therefore would like to propose Councillor Pat Strack as chairman of the Entertainments Committee.
Right, Madam Mayor, we will be proposing Councillor Casa as chairman of the Entertainments Committee. We'll have a vote.
Yes, but we need
speeches.
I'd like to second.
Do we have a seconder for Councillor Pat Strack as chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to second the motion.
Sam Lawrence, I think I heard.
Okay.
We have a proposer and a seconder, and for vice chair, we have.
We'd like to nominate Councillor Rebecca Chalice.
Is this for vice chair or for chair?
Absolutely, vice chair.
Vice
we'll have
chair.
a vote.
Vice chair.
Can I check with you, Councillor Butler? Only because it's
Councillor Papakaza for the chairmanship, Councillor Rebecca Chalice for the deputy chairmanship.
Right.
And also I'd like to make a point of clarification, as we actually had one additional Conservative member added some time ago, and to be proportionate representation here when it comes to the weight of the council, as Councillor Rubner said earlier today in his closing remarks and speeches as former mayor, that he believes in democracy. Well, it doesn't seem to add up to me when you've got 4 Conservative members against 2, when all the other committees are actually 3-2, which would actually be more in keeping with how the public voted for this council. So at some point, Mr. Clark and Madam Mayor, I'd like to bring to the GMC's attention that one of these positions be removed or an additional position added to have an additional Labour member.
Councillor Butler, feel free to bring that to the GMC.
I certainly will. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
There.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
So, Madam Mayor, I mean, clearly the nominations from each group don't need to, for the backbench positions on this committee, don't need to be voted for. The relevant groups can just simply state who their candidates are. And if I'm understanding from Councillor Butler that at least for this evening's purposes, people are happy with the numbers for this evening, the numbers of councillors. Right. Then the only 2 matters to vote on, which I believe have been properly proposed and seconded in each case, are the position of chairman and vice chairman. This vote will be open to all members of the council, not only to those on the Entertainments Committee.
Thank you. So I'd be grateful if you would please conduct that vote.
Right. So in the first case then, Madam Mayor, we'll do it for the position of chairman, as that was the order in which the mayor and deputy mayor were voted upon.
Thank you.
Right. So the 2 positions are for Councillor Strack and for Councillor Casa to be chairman of the Entertainments Committee. Councillor Simon Rubner, you vote for Councillor Strack or for Councillor Casa? Councillor Strack, you said. Councillor Parnell?
Councillor Strack.
Thank you. Councillor Butchins?
Councillor Strack.
Thank you. Councillor Chalice?
Councillor Casa.
Thank you. Councillor Butler?
Oh, yeah, I'm on for you. Anyway, Councillor Casa.
Councillor Collins?
Councillor Casa, please.
Thank you. Councillor Ennie?
Councillor Strack, please.
Thank you. Councillor Casa?
Yeah, self, Casa.
Thank you. Councillor Lawrence?
Councillor Strack.
Thank you. Councillor Newmark?
Councillor Casa for chairperson. We shouldn't be using the term chairman in 2021.
Thank you.
Councillor Strack?
I vote for myself.
Councillor Turner?
Councillor Strack.
Councillor Vince?
Councillor Casa.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, you may announce that Councillor Strack is appointed the chair. I say Madam Chairman, is the Madam Chairman of the Entertainments Committee.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we have nominations for Vice Chairman.
For Vice Chairman, the 2 nominations were, I believe, Councillor Parnell and Councillor Chalice. So we'll go through the list.
Sorry, point of order. I believe our nomination is Councillor Rennie, who hasn't been nominated yet.
Yes, it is Councillor Rennie.
Is
It
it
is
right?
councillor Rennie.
Has he? In which case, then somebody would need to nominate and propose and second Councillor Rennie.
I propose Councillor Rennie for Vice Chair.
And a second.
And I second Councillor Rennie.
Right, thank you. So that's clear. So, so the two names for Vice Chairman or Chairperson of the Entertainments Committee are Councillor Chalice and Councillor Ennie. Councillor Rubner, do you vote for Councillor Ennie or for Councillor Chalice?
I'm voting Ennie.
Thank you. Councillor Parnell?
Councillor Ennie, please.
Councillor Butchins?
Councillor Rennie.
Councillor Chalice?
Myself.
Councillor Butler?
Councillor Chalice.
Councillor Collins?
Councillor Chalice, please.
Councillor Ennie?
Myself, please.
Councillor Casa?
Councillor Chalice, please.
Councillor Lawrence?
Councillor Ennie.
Councillor Newmark?
Councillor Chalice, please.
Councillor Strack?
Councillor Ennie.
Hello. Sorry.
Councillor Turner?
Councillor Ennie, please.
Councillor Vince?
Councillor Chalice.
Thank you. So Councillor Ennie is duly elected as the Vice Chairman of the Entertainment Committee.
Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, do the relative group leaders, is for the ease of preparing the first agenda, either now or perhaps after the meeting, want to let me know who's sitting on this committee? Who are their names?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to nominate from the Labour Group side, Councillor Rebecca Chalice and Councillor Casa as our nominees for the two positions of entertainment.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. The town clerk has made a note of that.
Thank you very much. And from the Conservative group,
I've submitted our list.
is from the list that Councillor Strack has submitted are Councillor Strack, Simon Rubner and Sam Lawrence.
Thank you very much.
The Mayor and Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much indeed. We now go to the General Management Committee. Do we have any nominations for chairman of that committee?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I nominate Councillor Butler for chair of the General Management Committee. He's a long-standing member of this town council. He's sat on the General Management Committee for many years. He knows the nuts and bolts of this council. He's always played a constructive role. I think that if we're in a situation where the civic posts of mayor and deputy mayor are effectively being used for political purposes, it would be a very good way to show that this isn't simply a case of the Conservative group wanting to grab every single post for themselves by allowing.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
By allowing the Labour group leader to chair the General Management Committee, and maybe we'll actually get some things done.
Thank you for your comment. Do we have a seconder, please, from the Labour group?
Yes, I second that. Thank you.
Second it.
Thank you very much indeed. And from the Conservative group?
I would like to nominate Councillor Sandra Parnell for her to continue the good work she's been doing all these years. Wood and Nature is better for her being the chair.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder to this nomination?
I would like to second that because I too think that we have achieved a lot and we will continue to achieve very much. Councillor.
Thank you very much indeed. Town Clerk, we vote on the chairman?
Yes, and then go on to the deputy
vice chairman
or vice chair thereafter, if that's happening. Right. So going through the list again. I'm sorry, this is a very laborious method of carrying out our business, but it's how we agreed at the start of the Zoom.
Well, it is only once a year, Town Clerk.
And hopefully this evening's will be the last time we have a Zoom meeting as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
Councillor Rubner, do you wish to vote for Councillor Richard Butler or Councillor Parnell as Chairman of the General Management Committee?
I'm voting for Councillor Sandra Parnell as the Chairman of the General Management Committee.
Thank you. Councillor Parnell?
Myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Butchins?
Sorry, Richard, I have to vote for Councillor Parnell.
Councillor Chalice?
Councillor Butler.
Councillor Butler?
Myself, Mr. Clark.
That's not my name.
That's fine, but as long as that's okay with you, I'll call you that. If not, it's you.
Okay, thank you.
We're Britney Spears.
Councillor Collins?
For Councillor Butler, please.
Councillor Ennie?
Councillor Parnell, please.
Councillor Casa?
Councillor Butler, please.
Councillor Lawrence?
Councillor Parnell, please.
Councillor Newmark?
Councillor Butler.
Councillor Strack?
Councillor Parnell.
Councillor Turner?
Councillor Parnell.
Councillor Vince?
Councillor Butler.
So, Madam Mayor, following the party lines once again, perhaps unsurprisingly, Councillor Parnell is elected as the Chairman of the General Management Committee.
Thank you.
I need to consider the issue of Vice Chairman.
Do we have any nominations for Vice Chairman of
Yes,
the General Management Committee?
Madam Mayor. Yes, we have from the Labour Group. Sorry, go on, Jeremy.
Yeah, I nominate Councillor Butler for Vice Chair because you'll do the job much better. What we're seeing today is political cronyism. Everybody knows Richard does the best for Boreham Wood. Councillor Butchins even wanted to vote for him for chair, but wasn't independent-minded enough. I'm allowed to make a nomination speech. He wasn't independent-minded enough to go against his own group. Everybody knows Richard deserves this role. Don't vote with your party whip. Vote for Councillor Butler. You'll get things done.
Thank you, Councillor Newman. Thank you. Is there a second?
You've got to laugh.
Yeah, good speech.
Thank you very much, Councillor Connor. Let's continue with the meeting. Do we have a seconder for Councillor?
Yeah.
I'll second the Councillor Butler.
I second Councillor.
Right, Councillor, thank you very much. So, Clerk, please may we vote on the Vice Chairman?
You need to have a proposer and a seconder from the Conservative group as well.
I'm so sorry. I apologise. Do we have a proposer?
Yeah, I'd like to propose Councillor Simon Rubner for Vice Chairman, please.
And I second that.
Thank you very much.
So we'll go to the list again. The position to be voted on now, members, is for the appointments of the Vice Chairman of the General Management Committee, with the two names put forward as Councillor Richard Butler, Councillor Simon Rubner. Councillor Rubner, do you vote for Councillor Butler or for Councillor Rubner?
I'm voting Rubner.
Councillor Parnell?
Simon Rubner.
Councillor Butchins?
Councillor Rubner.
Councillor Chalice?
Councillor Butler.
Councillor Butler?
Myself, Councillor Butler.
Councillor Collins?
Councillor Butler, please.
Councillor Ennie?
Councillor Rubner, please.
Councillor Casa?
Councillor Butler, please.
Councillor Lawrence?
Councillor Rubner, please.
Councillor Newmark?
Against a Stalinist, for the Democrat, Councillor Butler.
Councillor Strack?
Councillor Rubner.
Councillor Turner?
Councillor Rubner.
Councillor Vince?
Against cronyism, Councillor Butler.
I can see that Councillor Rubner has his hand to speak, but before you go to that, Madam Mayor, you may announce that Councillor Rubner is appointed the Vice Chair of the General Management Committee.
Thank you very much indeed. Councillor
we're going to
Rubner.
have some long meetings.
I just want to make a comment. My grandfather was a political prisoner. He was imprisoned. He's imprisoned by Stalin for being a Democrat and only escaped from communist Hungary in 1956. So therefore, I take a lot of offence by being called a Stalinist because my family were victims of Stalinist policies.
Councillor Rubner, I do appreciate the
It's an
sentiment.
accurate characterisation of your political behaviour.
Councillor Rubner, I do appreciate the sentiments, but I don't think this is the right time for this conversation. Please, thank you very much indeed. So now let us continue.
Madam Mayor, through you, having appointed the chairman and vice chairman of that committee, do the group leaders also wish to let me know their nominations for the other posts? I have heard
Madam Deputy Mayor, I'm happy to give the Labour nominations for the town clerk.
Which are, please?
That would be Councillor Butler and Councillor Newmark, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. And the Conservative nominations provided to me were Councillors Parnell, Rubner and Butchins.
Right.
Includes the general.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, just point of clarification. Can I ask the reason why the leader of the council isn't sitting on GMC?
Why the leader of the council?
Not sitting on GMC, it's just a bit odd that the Conservative administration won't let the leader of the council sit on GMC. It's a bit weird.
Can I refer to?
I just want clarification,
please. Able to answer that question. Councillor Strack, are you able to answer that question?
There's no need to answer that question. We believe in democracy and we believe in giving our councillors an opportunity to serve on committees where they will work best.
Right. Thank you very much indeed.
Otherwise called